Hey everyone. We all know cartoons are meant for children, and I wish I could talk about children's entertainment without using the big F or the lowercase s, but I can't. And that's just the reality of the situation. That's just the way of the world. So until I learn to clean up my act, this podcast is for adults only. No kids allowed. Sorry. Hey everyone, welcome to Bad Toons, where we observe the outrageously odorous, calamitous, claptrap cartoons, then parlay, pontificate, and postulate proverbial animated atrocities. Translation, we're going to watch some bad cartoons, we're going to chat about them. Are we going to be pleasantly surprised or mortified? These are cartoons that either A, we never heard of, or B, dwell in internet infamy. I am Chris Vaughn. With me,
I'm Andy Vaughn.
We are the Vaughn brothers. Welcome to our first non-holiday themed episode.
Yeah,
I guess.
We wanted to start this in January, which is the month it currently is.
Yes. Unless I am the world's worst editor.
You motherfucker.
It's January what? 6th? It's going to take me till February 2nd to get this out.
Took him a whole month to clear out all that rain out of the recording.
Hey, blame it on the rain.
I just did. I literally just did.
You blamed it on the rain.
I just did. Were you even listening?
I was
editing Chris in the future when you're editing this in March. I need you to listen and listen to me.
April.
Okay.
Just be safe.
April Ludgate.
I always thought
editing this.
I always thought it was blame it on Lorraine. Like Lorraine was just like she's at the boards.
Blame it on Elaine. And it's just Elaine Bennis like doing that terrible dance.
She keeps kicking the controls of the keypad. Andy, what kind of podcast is this? I've been thinking
a bad one.
Well, it is. We have the word bad in it. Like that for our critics out there, they could literally just go bad tunes, more like bad podcast.
More like bad loons.
If they're Canadian and they just don't like us.
More like bad moons
bad
rising.
Andy, you inadvertently answered any question I was going to have. I realize there are two types
more
of
like bad runes.
The Gaelics?
Yeah.
Just like
bad. They're like, hey, check out this new rune I invented. They're like, fuck that.
That's a bad rune.
That's a bad rune.
That's a bad rune. You're going to be summoning the beast. No, the podcast beast. He rises from the moors. See, a bad moon rising.
It looks like we're in for nasty weather because there is a torrential rainstorm happening. Kind of.
That's when a rainstorm has 8 legs.
Yes.
And is hairy.
Like in the famous movie Arachnophobia, crossed with Twister.
Spider tornado would be fucking horrifying.
It's like Sharknado? No, it's like when the wind picks up those baby spiders.
When the wind blows.
Except they're full sized. Like big tarantulas and shit.
In a world where science has gone mad. Yeah, we collected all of the spider eggs in the northern hemisphere and we stored them in one building.
We put them in the spider dam.
This one spider dam. One act of recklessness. So, where is the spider dam located? Tornado Valley. What? Well, cause a bunch of spiders to fuck shit up. Oh no! It's a spider tornado!
Oh no! I'm just gonna stay inside. Hey, I'm safe.
Brought to you by a company that makes storm shelters. And a company that sells bug spray.
Have you ever been in a storm shelter?
I'm glad I sprayed my storm shelter with bug spray.
Oh, there you go. He fixed it.
Starring Tony Hawk.
Wait a minute. I didn't fill it with arachnid spray. Oh no!
Tony Hawk is going to do a kickflip over the spider tornado. Watch out, everyone.
It's okay, guys. It's me, Tony Hawk. I'm going to do a full 720 in the opposite direction of the spider tornado, thereby nullifying it.
He's a madman.
just making the spiders rain down.
Ah! Oh no, Tony Hawk got attacked by an actual hawk.
This has nothing to do with the plot.
Spider-nado versus Hawk-nado.
It's just a single hawk.
We put all of the eggs of every hawk in the northern hemisphere into the spider dam.
Oh no, that's terrible. Oh god, the eggs, they're going everywhere. That means that, oh, never mind, they're just breaking. Okay, hawks are now extinct.
Hawks are extinct. Good news though, spiders also extinct.
Well, the problem solved itself. Don't see the movie, guys. We already ended it.
I mean, like a couple trailers get knocked down. Who cares?
Well, that was the trailer.
And it got knocked down.
Yeah, but it gets up again.
You're never going to keep it down. We've been pissing the night away. That's why this intro is taking forever. What kind of podcast are we? Because I've noticed there's two types of podcasts I listen to. There's giggle podcasts, and then there's big boy voice podcasts.
I want to be a giggle podcast.
I think we are a giggle podcast.
I hope so.
We're a giggle podcast.
I hope, because I don't even watch the other kind.
Because like a giggle podcast is where the people talking are amusing themselves so much that it is just constant, like, talking through laughter.
We just did like a 6-minute sequence where we talked about a tornado and spiders. I think we're a giggle podcast.
But a comedy podcast can still be a big boy voice podcast.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like podcasts I personally like, Giant Bomb, the Giant Bomb cast, or even the Giant Beast cast. They are, for the most part, serious big boy voice. You know, it'll be like, here's what I think about Destiny. Destiny sucks. No, Jeff, Destiny is great. Destiny sucks. No, I think you'll find that Destiny is the bestiny. And every once in a while they'll break up. But then there's another podcast I like.
They broke up?
Yeah.
Oh no.
But there's another podcast I like, My Brother
When
and My
you're
Brother.
editing this in August, they're really going to break up and you're going to be terrified. You're going to be like, oh no, I predicted it. I caused this. Just like when me, Andy, when I made Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima get fired from Konami, when I bought a Guillermo del Toro movie and I bought the Metal Gear collection, and the next day they both got fired.
Yeah. But like, I listen to My Brother and Me, and that's a giggle podcast. They are laughing so much they're talking through the laughter. See, I was afraid that like when we started this experiment, people were going to find our giggling like a turnoff.
Yeah.
And they have, because no one's listening.
What about coughs?
A cough cast?
Because I have to cough really bad.
I cut those out. I cut the coughs.
Okay. Well,
I buy the drugs. I light the fires.
Chris,
I cut the coughs.
Can you go ahead and go on like one of your long-winded rants?
Well, here's what I feel about Destiny. God damn it. See, he's doing this for comedic effect, but he's also using this as an excuse to spit up.
I had to cough for about 6 minutes there. I'm not even joking.
We took
It's
all
gonna
the
sound
coughs.
disgusting.
We took all the coughs in North America and put them in the Spider Hawk bunker.
That's my body's name. I call myself the Spider Hawk Bunker. Archie! Edith, my name's Spider Hawk Bunker now. I changed it.
He is the worst Avengers. I hate Spider Hawk.
Hey, Doug, it's me, Spider Hawk Doug.
Hey, Doug,
I said Dunker.
Hey, Dunker. I believe I can fly.
Okay.
Hey, Doug, it's me. Spiders are crawling out all of my orifices. Honk, honk. Hey, Doug. Ever notice that Roger's green? Why am I blue?
There's artistic value.
How
They
come
can
in
do
a
whatever
world
they
where
want.
people are blue, green, and purple, there are still white people, there are still Caucasians?
Because in The Simpsons, they're yellow.
That's true.
And then it's
but there's also black people.
I was about to say. Then they're like, oh, hey, this guy's black and this guy's Indian. And it's like, but you guys
are yellow.
I thought you guys were like aracial, like just yellow people. And it's like, nope, yellow equals white, I guess. What?
The worst t-shirt ever. Yellow equals white.
That sounds like a terrible 90s grunge band. This is my band, Yellow Equals White. I don't have a joke set up. Because this is a grunge band and we don't tell jokes.
Jack White.
We sing songs.
Jack White married Jill Yellow. I don't know enough about the White Stripes to make this interesting.
I don't know who Jill Yellow is.
She...
Is that like Jay Leno? Is it Jared Leto?
Jared Leto married Jack White. White equals Leto.
I hope they had their marriage ceremony on the sun.
That's Smash Mouth you're thinking of. They might as well be walking on the sun. You make it sound like a TurboGrafx video game intro. Smash Mouth, America needs your help. So we're gonna watch 3 cartoons.
I want to talk more about Smash Mouth on the sun.
They are pioneers. People want to go to Mars. Smash Mouth is like, no, we gotta walk on the sun.
Right? Okay, we're about to start watching the cartoons now.
Yes.
But I want to say one thing. This is directed directly to Steve Harwell. Is that his name? From Smash Mouth?
I didn't know he had a name. I just thought he was Smash Mouth guy.
I'm going to talk and I'm going to cover my mouth so that Chris can cover it up with whatever his real name is. This is directed directly at Steve Harwell. Write a song about the spider tornado and the hawk tornado. It'll be your next big hit. Trust me.
I don't know. I don't think there's a new Shrek movie in the works.
There's always one in the DreamWorks.
I dream of Shrek.
Hey, Puss in Boots got a second season. There are 2 seasons of Puss in Boots. The whatever. I don't know what it's called.
So the cartoons we're going to watch today, we decided to watch terrible 3D animated movies or shows. Andy, I believe you picked out pretty much the theme of this. As I think you picked out,
I picked out all of them, but then we couldn't find one because it all got taken down.
But you've picked out several. I'd say the majority of the tunes we've watched for this program, both times. You were the mastermind behind watching Rhapsody Kids, which made me want to kill myself.
Rhapsody Kids and
The Night Before made me want to kill myself.
Was that mine?
You found it.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, that's right. And also, our friend Kyle and I were talking about Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. Yes. It hadn't even crossed my mind that, oh my God, we have to do that.
So why the hell have I given you the keys again is a question I'm asking myself.
Because this is bad tunes.
We are watching...
I got the goods. I always know where the goods are.
I got the goods for
I'm
the
bad tune dealer. You find me in the back of a goddamn Kmart. I'm there. I'm like, hey, check out this. I got it for $1 at the Walmart.
Oh my goodness. It's like
the bargain bin's bargain bin. I can't tell if Chris is really ashamed of me or laughing.
We are going to be watching Dorbees? Dorbees. I know nothing about.
Thank God.
We are watching Gaither's Pond?
Yes.
Which is a 3D animated film about fish and frogs and skeeters living in a pond.
Hey, Doug. Get me out of this pond, Doug.
Spiders, Doug. They're still biting me.
Why am I from the South? I'm from Louisiana now. The spiders.
Spiders. And then we're going to be watching a movie, Jock, the Hero Dog. We actually found this at a Walmart in the bargain bin. And we now know where to go whenever we want to watch some horrible cartoons.
A torrent website.
No. Beep. Just censor beeping right there. Man, Andy went on such a long coughing jag. So long that we had to replace him with someone else for the show. Kyle Javelli, everyone, is sitting here in the studio.
Hey, guys. It's me, Kyle.
Hey, it's me, Kyle. I'm making a pizza pie. No one can see you do the hair flip.
I know, but it's important to get into character.
To get into character, you have to do the hair flip.
You gotta do the hair flip.
Kyle, stop flipping your hair. There's a spider tornado about. There's more important things to worry about.
That's what he's doing. It's like a horse.
Kyle, Tony Hawk is dead.
Horses' tails, they like flip up and swat away the flies.
Swat away the flies.
Kyle Javelli's hair is spider-proof.
Is he constantly being attacked by flies?
No, spiders.
I was thinking flies because, they're attracted to...
Beep.
They're attracted to smells. And Kyle...
Yes?
Is Italian.
Beep.
So, predictions. They're all going to be really bad.
That's it.
We're going in as blind as possible on this one.
I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, a podcaster in the attic. I'm your doctor when you need Gaither Pond or Dorbees.
Hank the cow dog.
Yep.
No, what was it called? Jock the hero dog?
Jock the cow dog.
Jock the hero dog, starring Donald Sutherland as the clumsy waiter. This movie, I will now refer to it as Shut the Fuck Up, Donald.
I remember when Metal Gear Solid 5 came out, they said Kiefer Sutherland didn't talk enough. Well, in this, Donald Sutherland talks too much.
He talks enough for the both of them.
Yeah. Maybe that Kiefer was like, you know what, Donald, I call you Donald for some reason.
Daddled.
Daddled
Souther Dad.
Daddykins. Oh, Daddy. He was like, Dad, you talk too much. I'm gonna learn from example and never talk ever.
The whole movie.
And then I'm gonna get super drunk and tackle a Christmas tree.
It takes place in South Africa.
Yes.
I don't know what time period. I'm gonna guess the
Well,
1910s to 1920s.
There was a poster that was referring to the past that said 1888.
Oh, okay. So this would be.
So this would probably be 1890s to 1900s.
Depends on how long a baboon lives.
That's true.
That's a plot point. We'll get to that later. So it is about the South African gold rush. A young white man from another country. I'm assuming England. He seems
From
like
the
he has,
Sutherland.
He sounds like he has an English accent. It's not a South Afrikaner's accent. He comes to South Africa to get gold. He adopts a small runtish dog from an old wise Zulu man named Bababa, I believe. And he doesn't want this dog because it's a runt, but the dog has a lot of heart and he learns to love it. They go on a wacky adventure that is filled with animal mutilation, dog fights, drowning dogs for no fucking reason.
And worst of all, a rooster played by Ted Danson who really phones it in.
Everyone
Possibly the
phones
most
it in.
gruesome thing in the whole movie.
This is not a movie for kids. I believe this was based on a what I perceive to be a popular South African book, because the way the story is told, it feels kind of like a Ricky Tikki Tavi kind of thing. You know, it feels very old. The whole film is narrated by Donald Sutherland. And it makes you, and he's supposed to be the young British guy as an older man. Did he grow up and lose his accent?
Mm-hmm.
He just became a different person entirely? But it's incessant. The entire thing is just narrated. The animation is extraordinarily herky-jerky. Poorly done. The lip syncing is terrible. But it's got some big names in it. Now, you mentioned Ted Danson.
Yes.
As Pazulu the chicken, who I kept wanting to call Pazuzu, who is a demon.
No, he was a rooster.
No, Pazuzu is a demon. He possesses people.
Was he played by Ted Danson?
No.
Are you sure?
I've seen The Exorcist.
That
could have been Ted Danson.
That was in another. That was inside of a body.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be Ted Danson's voice. When Pazuzu was out of the body, it was Ted Danson.
Okay, so when Pazuzu was in the ether,
yeah,
it's Ted Danson.
Because they wouldn't just
cut him out of the movie.
They wouldn't just voice. They did.
Well, you never see the demon like jump out of the Reagan's mouth and go work at a bar called Cheers.
Oh my God, Cheer! I thought I was watching the rest of the movie. I was like, why does this movie go on for several?
Did you take a Cheers break mid-Exorcist, like to cool down, like it's too scary? I gotta take a Cheers, like a good Cheers 15.
Yeah,
and then reward myself.
15 seasons.
After I'm done watching this scary movie, I'll reward my bravery with the last 15 minutes of Cheers.
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot with this movie.
I know you have this problem where you believe that Ted Danson is in a lot of films that he isn't in.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if Ted Danson was that rooster now.
I thought he was great in Drive. He was absolutely excellent in The Godfather Part 2.
You do know Ted Danson's not the Babadook.
I haven't seen The Babadook.
Did the Babadook, was his name also Sam, and did he work in a bar called Cheers? Was the Babadook a former baseball player who no one particularly liked?
It might have been
I
Cheers.
think you're watching Cheers again.
And like, okay, so everything I've seen that Ted Danson's in is a lie. It's just I'm watching Cheers.
You're just well, in Fargo season 2, did Ted Danson switch from being an old Ted Danson to a young Ted Danson?
Yeah, like every episode. I don't understand.
Okay, I think you did the classic mistake of where you watch an episode of Fargo, then you watch an episode of Cheers.
No, I didn't watch Fargo. I just watched
You
Cheers.
just watched Cheers.
Yeah.
This sure is a departure from the first season. Why are they in this bar? Fuck this movie. It sucks. I don't even want to talk about it.
We have to though. Oh, I forgot to say the weirdest way to set the tone of dogfights and a baboon trying to kill a monkey and all this kind of stuff is that the film opens with a dung beetle who then almost gets hit by a wagon and then shakes his fist incessantly, and then the film focuses on him like it's fucking Jock, the hero dung beetle.
I think the dung beetle keeps coming back. It's like a...
Donald Sutherland is the dung beetle. He's the narrator.
Do you think that the whole time that coincidentally this dung beetle's life just like coincided with the events of the human's life? Like,
I think that it's a metaphor.
the dung beetle's a metaphor.
Yes. The dung beetle is pushing a big old pile of shit, which is called Jock the Hero Dog.
The dung beetle is Donald Sutherland. The pile of
Yes.
shit is the twilight of his career. And he is just pushing along.
You shut the fuck up. Donald Sutherland was in a Kate Bush music video.
I said the twilight of his career. Was this Kate Bush video recent?
Yes.
Kate Bush just came back and was like, this is my song about Jock the Hero Dog.
Kate Bush is still alive and she's still performing.
Heathcliff, it's me, Kathy.
That's a different book and a different song.
Wait, I thought whether... Okay, I'm sorry. We're getting crossed.
In Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights.
Hold on. In Wuthering Heights.
Heathcliff adopts a hero dog
No, in Wuthering
to
Heights.
fight a baboon.
Heathcliff. Okay, he's at a bar.
No,
Is Ted dancing with Heathcliff?
they are terrorizing the neighborhood with pranks.
And
Is
he's like,
hold on.
This ghost.
Andy,
What?
you do know Ted Danson is not part of the Cadillac Cats because he's a human being. No, we're at 6 minutes in. We gotta talk about this movie. So, essentially, Fitzpatrick, the Englishman who turns into Donald Sutherland, adopts this hero dog. It's one of those movies where the animals talk to each other, but the humans can't understand them. So we think because there's a lot of times where it changes.
Yeah.
South Africa at this time, it's like the game Borderlands. There's no laws. It's just rebellious thieves and cutthroats everywhere in a desert. Look, there ain't no rest. There ain't no rest for the wicked. So Fitzpatrick takes this dog. They end up in a not a bar, but what would you call it? It's like a outpost,
I guess.
where there's all these people who are betting on warthog races. And that is when our hero dog runs afoul of the movie's antagonist, George, who is a baboon that fights dogs. He's a dog-fighting baboon. So we introduced the elements of dog-fighting in this movie, which is terrible. Kids should not be learning about dog-fighting. A baboon, a very strong animal. Like a chimpanzee is the muscle density of that creature. They're like 3 times stronger than a man. I don't know about baboons, but I would say at least strong as a man. And they're known to rip things apart. So we're setting up a backstory that this cutthroat evil villain who works at this outpost, who sounds like Pudge from Dota, has a baboon that rips dogs apart. The hero dog Jock enters this warthog race, and is then that he meets a monkey played by Mandy Patinkin. when Jock eventually wins the race and George is dead set on ripping him apart, we come to the worst song in the history of movies.
No, movies, right?
Of anything.
Okay, I'm gonna let that slide now, but when we talk about the next two things, you might change your tune a little bit.
You're right. I shouldn't have done that. Here's a sample of the song real quick.
You so don't get the mess you're in. My chorus will explain. It was coming first that blew it. And anyway, it wasn't up to me. Oh, Jackie George is gonna throw a fit. I told you. I warned you. You shouldn't have done it.
Here's the thing you need to understand about Jock the Hero Dog. While Bryan Adams plays the dog, and Bryan Adams' music plays throughout the film, this is not a musical. There is only one animal or person in this film that they decided to let just sing. And he has two songs, they come out of nowhere, and they're jarring as fuck. You get the impression that, I don't know, maybe in the original, if the monkey was supposed to be a girl?
The book?
Or I
there
mean,
were no songs in the book, I don't think.
In the movie before it was translated to English. I don't know if the monkey is supposed to be a girl or can't be homosexual, because he swishes his hips and he's a little limp-wristed. And he seems to have an abusive relationship with the baboon. The way he talks about the baboon and the way the baboon treats him, it is almost like there's a domestic abuse thing going on. I don't know. Well, this sets up a story where, essentially, I'm broad strokes for this fucking thing. Essentially, the movie comes to a head after Jock the Hero Dog inadvertently kills a leopard that killed a little girl. Animals mutilating children, another subplot.
Also killed his mother, which I called about as soon as the mother character showed up. I'm like, she's gonna die.
Yeah, she's dead. That leopard's gonna kill her.
I thought at first they were gonna shoot her with the hunter in the beginning. There was a hunter who pointed a gun at her, and I'm like, great, Bambi. Then nope, leopard.
The hunter who, when he sees Jock the Hero Dog, is like, oh, it's a run of the litter. Well, might as well do him a favor. And he plunges him in a barrel full of water. And there's a terrifying drowning sequence, which is made funny because of how badly animated the water and the dog are. Like
Chris finds dogs drowning hilarious.
Dog drowning. It's up. I love that episode of Cheers where Sam is like, I've had enough of this dog. And he just throws it in a barrel.
It's a barrel full of beer, and then the little dog comes out drunk.
Well, no, Norm drinks all the beer, and he inadvertently saved the dog.
He drinks the dog. Oh, no.
Norm, did you drink that dog? No, and he coughs, and a little bit of hair comes out of his mouth.
And blood.
Where just bones with hair hanging off of it. The evil pudge-sounding guy, the owner of the
Lonely Heart,
the owner of the baboon, wants to set up a fight between the hero dog Jock and his baboon George, because he lost a lot of money when George won the warthog race, even though he's a dog.
You mean Jock?
Yeah, George. I'm sorry.
No, Jock.
Jock.
Not George. Jock.
Sorry, Jock won.
No, George.
Jock won the warthog race, even though it's a dog. Fitzpatrick has the right idea. He's like, no, I'm not going to let a baboon fight my dog. And it's great because the evil villain of this film tries using psychology, but not of the owner, of the dog. He's like, your dog thinks he's so great. He set up a challenge, didn't he? And he pulls out a poster he made where it says hero leopard killing dog versus George the baboon.
I'm going to stop you right there. Jock must have printed that poster because he wanted the fight so bad.
He keeps saying oh, your dog challenged my baboon.
Your dog made this in Zazzle.com.
Your dog went to Kinko's and had this special ordered. And then he went to Cheers. But he's like, your dog needs to prove he's the toughest, doesn't he? It's like he's trying to, call the guy out for being a wuss, but it's all of his arguments
your dog's a pussy.
are from the dog's perspective. The guy
What did
says
that
no.
motherfucker just say about me in English to me, a dog?
It doesn't work though. The dog sees through the bullshit too. Another dog asks him, "Are you going to take up the baboon on his challenge?" He's like, "No, there's no reason to. Violence never solves anything." The movie comes to a head when Jock is kidnapped by the bad guys after the baboon attacks Fitzpatrick's sidekick, who's this big honking Zulu warrior with a spear, and they call him a Zulu warrior. They like, oh, he's a big Zulu warrior. But we all know baboons are very vicious animals, always attacking people with cast iron skillets.
Yeah, and they're always setting fire to wagons.
Yes, the baboon attacks a man with a cast iron skillet and then lights his wagon on fire.
Baboons, now, normally you hear rumors about them, like, ripping people's faces off and shit. That's a lie. They only do wacky, like, slapstick comedy bits with people. Hit them with boards, like in that old Laurel and Hardy bit.
Maybe they'll crack a coconut over their head like they're Roddy Piper fighting Jimmy Snuka. So, yeah, Jock has to fight the baboon. In the meantime, George is very upset with the Mandy Patinkin monkey because he's been helping Jock out. And he's going to throw him to crocodiles. And he's like, sing me a song before you die. And he sings this song. This is warbly kind of like bizarre, like saloon song. We get to the point where the you're gonna see a baboon rip a dog apart.
Yep. And it happens, and it's awesome.
The end. The dog starts fighting the baboon. The baboon comes out in a robe, like thing, like with a hood, like he's a fucking prize fighter.
Fucking Rocky.
And then he throws his robe off, and he is wearing a leopard vest, and it's like to psych the dog out, and he just goes, "Does this look familiar? I believe it's the leopard that killed your mom." And it feels so unnecessary. It reminds me of the movie Kickboxer, where remember there's that really shoehorned in rape subplot where the bad guy
exactly like
for
Jock the Hero
but I'm
Dog.
saying like
yeah,
the bad guy rapes Jean-Claude Van Damme's character's girlfriend, and it doesn't enhance the story whatsoever.
It's basically ha ha ha. You thought I was bad. I'm even worse. Ha ha ha.
I guess we haven't raised the stakes enough.
Yeah.
Let's throw in a really clunky rape scene. So then when he's fighting him, the bad guy goes, "You bleed just as well as my ling." And he's like, "What? What? Why did you even do this? I already agreed to throw the fight, and now you're just dropping this new info on me." So it feels like that. We're out of nowhere. The bad guy's just like, "Just in case you didn't think I was bad enough, I'm wearing the leopard that killed your mom as a coat."
But you're like, "Oh, you killed her? You killed that leopard for me? Thank you. You got vengeance on my mom."
It's like, fuck that leopard. He's a dick. And he's like, "But no, he's the one that killed your mom." Yeah. Who I killed and you skinned and wore as a... This makes no sense.
And now I'm gonna kill your mom. Wait, she's already dead. Shit.
Your mom's already dead. Hold on. The leopard killed your mom. You killed the leopard. I made a coat of the leopard, which should make you... You didn't like the leopard. No, not at all. He killed my mom. Then...
I'm gonna kill all your brothers.
I should have made a coat of his mom. Like, that's the... Like, I'm saying it out loud. That's the obvious thing.
But how would he get... Would he be like, "Hey, human, take this dog corpse, make me a coat." Okay. How are you talking? One.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Who made the coat of the leopard? While animals are very clever in this world, I don't think they're clever enough that he'd get a pair of scissors and a sewing kit.
He had a sewing machine.
His owner had to have made that coat. So the owner would have had to have been like, this dog is smart enough to recognize that this leopard... Oh my God, this movie!
Can you imagine if he took off his robe and his owner was like, "Yes, kill it." What the fuck? Did you sew this? What the fuck? I think my baboon has achieved human-like sentience.
I don't think he would be surprised because throughout the movie...
That's true.
He talks, like he gives this baboon orders and he there's collusion between the man and the baboon. Like, when they ambushed the guy and set fire to his cart, he obviously just like pulled the monkey aside. He was like, sorry, baboon. He pulled the baboon aside. He was like, George, listen up. You're going to sneak up behind him and hit him with this cast iron skillet. Then I'll come in from the left flank in a pincer maneuver. We get him from both sides.
He gave him all these great stealth tactics. He's like, here, use a water arrow to put out all the candles and lanterns.
It's a blackjack in case you get in trouble. I know my stealth. I know the basics of CQC. I learned them from Solid Snake's dad. Sorry, Solid Snake's grandpa. Well, actually, I almost spoiled Metal Gear Solid 5 for the sake of a joke about Jock the Hero Dog. I'm glad I caught myself. I was this close to like keep going deeper and deeper. Jock frees the baboon and says, hey, you got a choice now. You can kill me, or you can kill the dude who's been Michael Vicking you this whole time, who's been beating the shit out of you and telling you to kill dogs.
And George is like, who's Michael Vick? This is the early 1900s.
This is 1901.
Yeah.
Who is Michael Vick? So he chases after his owner. He's like, yeah, you're right. Fuck this dude. They jump on this raft and all the heroes are watching. The baboon is attacking his owner and he throws him off the raft into crocodile-infested waters. The man is about to be ripped apart by crocodiles. You see Fitzpatrick is on the hill with the rest of the cast watching this event unfold. He pulls up his gun to shoot the crocodiles. I guess we skipped this character because he's not really important in the story. There's like an older, like English gentleman who takes Fitzpatrick under his wing. He's like, oh boy, blah, blah, blah. When Fitzpatrick raises the gun, he puts his hand on the gun and pushes it down. He's like, no, let the crocodiles have this one. He's of low birth. You don't need to help this ruffian. He tried to have a baboon rip your dog apart. The tables are turned because in our society, dogs are valued the same as man. I don't know. If Michael Vick was going to get attacked by crocodiles, would you save him? I don't think so. I think we just let the crocs have him. If Michael Vick was going to go buy some crocs, would you stop him? Nah, I think we just let him have the crocs.
We let him have the crocs, and then people would make fun of him mercilessly.
They'd be like, Michael Vick, you wear
and
crocs?
They'd tear him apart. They'd hit him with a cast iron skillet.
Some dogs would mock him before ripping him apart. The end of the movie is that after a man is brutally ripped apart by crocodiles, the baboon picks up his sack of winnings from the bet and pours it into the water because some baboons just want to watch the world burn. Everyone has a party. And it's all the people who were betting on the fucking baboon versus dog fight are dancing and singing as if this one guy who owned a shitty bar in a desolate town in bumblefuck nowhere was the sheriff of Nottingham. And now that he was dead, everything is great again. It's like there's people pounding drums. The Zulu Warrior guy is doing this really weird, like, if you've ever seen Goku dance in Dragon Ball Z, it looks like that. It's like punch dancing. Why? They just watched one disconnected from the story. Yeah, it makes no sense. It's like, he was a bad person. He was going to have that baboon rip that hero dog apart. That hero dog that we all bet against would get ripped apart by a baboon that at any time we could have stepped in and stopped this ourselves. The worst part about this movie is, Andy, Baba.
No.
I have to say it.
No.
We were watching the credits. We're like, oh my God, Bryan Adams. Oh my God, Mandy Patinkin. Oh, hey, that really was Ted Danson. Dude. Desmond Tutu is Baba. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, the man who fought against the apartheid, who fought against every injustice known to man, has flushed his goodwill down the toilet as far as I'm concerned. Revoke his Nobel Peace Prize. Revoke hhis Gandhi Prize. Take him away. He helped get this film made. Desmond Tutu. That'd be like, I can't imagine there's no higher, there's no metaphor I can make. You know, like This is the most preposterous outcome. This would be like, oh man, did you know that the voice of Unicron was the late great filmmaker Orson Welles? And I would say Orson Welles as Unicron, that's as bad as if Desmond Tutu was in Jock the Hero Dog. Like, this is now the highest outrage a cartoon can go to. Desmond fucking Tutu. The music, by the way, is terrible. It's like Broadway fake Elton Johning all over the place. And Donald Sutherland, he narrates things that necessarily don't have to be narrated.
I think the movie could go without any narration.
It could have been in the beginning.
It's like,
I was a young man and I found this dog. And then the end. And I learned that I had a true friend in this animal.
I want to say at least 5 times I hear Donald Sutherland say, I learned the value of friendship.
He does.
The value of friendship.
It's
Friendship,
very
friendship,
repetitive.
friendship.
This dog
friendship.
had a lot of heart. I didn't realize it then, but this dog had a lot of heart. I should have listened to Baba. This dog had a lot of heart.
Should have listened to Baba because he's Desmond fucking Tutu.
If Desmond Tutu tells you this dog has a lot of heart, you fucking listen. That man has a Nobel Prize. Tentatively. It might be revoked after this. Desmond, what were you doing? I checked on IMDb. This man has over 88 credits, I believe. At least. Now, of those 88 credits, 86 of them are self, whether he is appearing in documentary footage or he is appearing in archival footage. There are only 2 things that Desmond Tutu is not being interviewed about something. One is a web series in 2014, I believe, but the other is Jock the Hero Dog. You know, if we watch the Donkey Kong cartoon show, the Donkey Kong Country cartoon show, and the Dalai Lama just shows up to teach us about the crystal coconut, that's how bad this is. Dalai Lama, what are you doing here? I'm to teach you about the crystal coconut.
My favorite part of Butt Ugly Martians was the episode with Nelson Mandela.
Desmond Tutu is in Jock the Hero Dog.
Okay.
I'm dying.
Okay.
My fans count on me to keep them informed.
Maybe, but you really should check out your facts before you print them.
Facts? Have you ever heard of creative license?
So next we watched Gaither's Pond, which is a live bait production.
Oh, good.
It is about ego. It's about unbridled ego. It is about being so egotistical that the characters you portray have to look exactly like you, even if they are fish.
Or a fly.
Or a fly.
Or a turtle.
It is about characters having parody names based off yourself, even though you are a B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K level celebrity. But everyone's going to get this joke, right? It is about, hey, kids like animation, but let's make jokes for adults, but not every adult. Just adults that watch our particular programming.
Our friends.
For us.
Yeah.
Just for us. It's an inside joke. Let's make an inside, let's spend, I almost said like millions of dollars. Let's spend thousands of dollars for an inside joke just for us called Gaither's Pond.
They spent millions of cents.
Essentially, the Gaithers are gospel singers, televangelist types. They have concerts and gospel CDs and Christian rock and things like that. They sell and DVDs and books and t-shirts. Turning a profit off God, which I'm pretty sure 2 people would have a problem with that. One being the big man, Jesus Christ, who we know when he saw the money changers in the temples, he threw a fit, he threw a strap. And the second would be Jethro Tull's Ian Anderson, who wrote some work almost as important as the Bible, which is the song Wind Up, which appeared on Aqualung.
That whole album, though, is very...
That's our Bible.
Yeah, it's like anti-church, but not necessarily anti-religion.
Well, you know what? My Bible is never too old to rock and roll, or too young to die. That's what I take to heart.
I hope not.
Why?
There are some morally objectionable parts of that album.
What's so wrong about that album? He wins a quiz show.
His schoolgirl of fancies in full flight.
Okay, he had sex with girls who were half his age who are still in high school.
And the weird thing is, in like 2 songs before that, he says if you're 39 or older, that's quite a jump.
Because it's about acceptance, it's about tolerance. And one song, in the song Big Dipper, he is having sex with older women, including his landlord. It's a good way to get a good 10% discount. You don't even have to use Groupon. Everyone in Gaither's Pond, they are parodies of the Gaither performer. So, Jesse Frogman, big...
Yeah, Jesse Frogman, like from Breaking Bad.
instead of Vestal Goodman, it's Vestal Gooseman, and she's a goose.
Oh my god, I just got that.
That's everyone looks like they are a Bosch painting because they are these fish bodies with semi-detailed human faces.
Yeah.
It's like Seaman.
Damn it.
But you know Seaman was supposed to unnerve you. That's the joke. That is not the joke in this.
I kept speaking to my fucking Dreamcast microphone. They never interacted with me the
Not
entire
one bit.
show.
Leonard Nimoy wasn't even there.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But this episode is about the dangers of parody websites and why you shouldn't have, like, I guess they're also sick of The Onion and MSNBC.cc and things like that because it is about a fish who is just writing stuff about his friends and their egregious lies, saying that Vestal Goosewoman is running for pond president.
Buddy Greenfly is in the NBA or some shit.
But yeah, Buddy Greenfly is being scouted by the NBA.
You know what? I think there needs to be more ethics in goose and fish journalism.
You're right. Did you know?
Hashtag Gamergate.
I heard that Zoe Quinfish was spawning with 5 Kotaku journalists.
I'm sure we can come up. Give us some time. We'll come up with better fish puns. Or then again, they
Anita Circaza Swan shows up.
No, Anita Sharkasian.
Anita Shark, like she's a shark.
Yeah.
Because you know what? She's just a big fish in a tiny pond anyway.
But she needs to have the big hoop earrings on a shark.
And sharks wear plaid.
And like, Chris, we saw a guy who's a turtle with a human face.
Nothing's
There's
more
a frog
horrifying
with
a mustache.
With a mustache and like one of those like square afro things.
Nothing's worse. There's one fish that has a human face, has a beard and hair. He looks kind of like Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah.
There's a Frakes fish.
I bet they feed him in fish frakes.
There's Dennis Rodfrog. This is real.
Yes.
This is real.
Dennis Rodfrog.
When they find out the Fly is being drafted to the NBA, he's challenged by Dennis Rodfrog.
Who, by the way, is definitely not played by Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman was too busy with the NWO at this time in his life to lower himself to be in Gaither Pond. It's just a frog with blonde hair and a bunch of earrings and nose rings. And the whole joke is he's chasing after the Fly throughout the entire show, going,
For
"Come
like
on, man!
30
Come on,
fucking
man!
minutes.
I'm gonna eat you, man! I'm gonna eat you, man! I'm gonna eat you! Come on, man! Come on, man! Come, you think you're better than me? I'm gonna eat you,
Yeah,
man!
that's
I'm gonna
right.
eat you, man!"
I'm fucking Dennis Rodman, who for some reason is Chris Tucker.
Yeah, they watched
doesn't
Fifth
sound-
Element and saw Ruby Rod, and they're like, "Hey, isn't that Dennis Rodman? He's got blonde hair." Whatever.
Ruby Rodman. There you go.
There you go. There's a great scene where Vestal Goosewoman is trying to teach the fish who's writing this fake website about how lies affect people. And she says, "Look in this bottle." And she looks at his reflection in a bottle. And he goes, "Oh, you handsome fish, you. I hope you never die." Direct quote.
Aw, you handsome fish, you. I hope you never die.
It was jarring. It was like, whoa, this thing's going to get in some deep shit.
He's going to hell.
But yeah, the woman, the goose woman tries to teach him that the Bible tells us not to lie. We got to be honest, because the Bible. Do animals have souls? I thought animals don't have souls. Are they?
In Gaither's Pond, they do.
In Gaither's Pond.
What if all of the people in Gaither TV or whatever the fuck die, and it turns out Christianity is wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Hindu is the real religion.
Then they're all gonna go down a rung.
They all reincarnate.
Yeah, but they're
as
gonna
fish and flies.
But the fish and flies still don't believe in Hinduism. So they're all going to go down a rung again. They're going to be worms and bugs and dung beetles.
Well, one of them already is a bug.
One of them, yeah. So he's died twice. I don't know.
Do you think that dung beetle was incensed with us because we didn't watch Gaither's Pond first, or?
I think that dung beetle, it was like a precursor hint. Because if fish...
foreshadowing to this thing that came out.
Well, I'm just saying, because if fish and geese have souls, then clearly dogs and baboons have souls.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's why the humans in Jock the Hero Dog totally felt that the life of one baboon was equal to the life of one man. Because they both have the same soul.
Fitzpatrick died and was reincarnated as Donald Sutherland.
That explains why his voice is different. Donald Sutherland was pretty deep in the hippie movement. Good friends with Hanoi Jane.
Mm-hmm.
So he must have got crystals and chakras and charms and was able to see with his third eye into his past lives. He had a divination of some sorts and was like, oh man, I was some guy named Fitzpatrick and I had this dog that was awesome. And then when Kiefer was born, Kiefer was actually the soul of Jock the Hero Dog.
No!
Just putting that out there. This cartoon, if I can't even call it a cartoon, is vaguely pro-fascist. Did you find that alarming?
About how there's a character named Big Bass who is always the president forever.
People want Vestal Goosewoman to run for president because the fish whose name I can't remember in his website.
Carp. His name was Carp.
Carp's website.
What a great name.
Carp's website.
Carp.
Claimed that Vestal Goosewoman was running for pond president.
Mm-hmm.
And people are just so excited that she's going to run. Finally, there's opposition. The people have a voice. They think she'll look better on the poster. But they're all excited for Vestal Goosewoman to run for president. When the fish see the billboards, they're like, this makes no sense. Big Bass. Was that his name?
Big Bass Bill.
Oh, it was Big Bass Bill.
They normally just call him Big Bass.
They call him Big Bass.
I think the guy's name in the band is probably Big Boss. He's like, I'm Big Boss Bill.
I'm Big Boss Bill.
That sounds like something.
Welcome to Zanzibar.
Yeah, Zanzibar Land. He's the supreme leader of Zanzibar Land.
So wait, it was Mother Base, Zanzibar Land, Gaither's Pond.
Yeah.
Shadow Moses.
Yes.
Gaither's Pond is nestled in the center of Shadow Moses.
Maybe they're learning all about God so they can finally make it to outer heaven.
So Gaither...
Kiefer Sutherland has nothing to do with Gaither's fucking pond. Until the 5th episode.
But the fish are like, this doesn't make sense. Big Boss Bill, Big Bass Bill, Bullet Bill, you've always been president. You've been president since I was a guppy. And you'll always be president. And they're like, yeah, this makes no sense. You know what? It's the journalists there behind it. Journalism is an enemy of the state that spreads lies. Vestal Goosewoman clears the air and says, I am not running for pond president. We only have, and the words they use is creepy. We only have one president, and he'll be president forever. So they have a totalitarian and dictatorship that suppresses the press. The press is flawed. Give it that. But this Carp fellow seems to be the only journalist they have, and they're suppressing his right.
Chris, all fish are created equal, but some fish are more equal than others.
You're right.
Also, a fly, for some reason.
Oh, also, there's bloopers at the end that make no sense. They're the most insufferable bloopers ever because they're just people fucking up and saying, can I take that again?
They're not even fucking up. It's just people saying like, oh man, that was crazy. Let me try that again. Oh man, that was crazy. Oh man, that was crazy. Now, just the 5 seconds of me doing that was already insufferable. Imagine that for a whole 2 minutes.
Because it's the entirety of the credits is this. The worst part though is there's a song. This thing is full of songs, right? They're gospel songs.
They have nothing to do with the
nothing
fucking
to do with
plot.
the plot. like shoestrings connecting this to the main plot. There's one song that comes out of, I guess this song does fit with the message. It's a song about the rumor mill, how the rumor mill is the only thing in your town that's a business that doesn't help anyone. And it's sung by this little green frog with a really really deep bassy voice.
Let me tell you a story about a local enterprise.
Yeah, I feel like when they brought back Over the Garden Wall for a second season, it just ruined it.
I think this is Over the Garden Wall and Into the Dumpster.
Take you over the garden wall and into the dumpster. My favorite Meatloaf song.
There's a song at the end they were too lazy to animate, so they just cut to live action footage of the people performing it for their church service or whatever. And it's jarring as shit to see a 3D animated with a human face watching the human version of him on stage singing.
Yeah.
On a computer that's also a turtle.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
If in One Piece, the phones can be, slugs or snails.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? So that was Gaither's Pond. I believe it's worth a watch. There's more of it. There's a lot more of it. Because it's fucking crazy. It'll make you have serious doubts in your religion if you're Christian.
It makes me have doubts about my sanity and the universe we're living in.
Do you think God does exist and he's punishing us with this?
The kind of existential dread that he is doing is much worse than anything described in hell.
But maybe that's it. Maybe God's changing with the times. He's like, we got to hit the kids where they live. Ironic 3D animation.
Oh.
We reel them in thinking it's so bad that it's good, but then it's so bad that it's bad. And then it's inescapable because the people watching this have already dedicated a podcast to it. So they can't chicken out because they know they have subscribers that want to hear this.
Are we doing more harm than good?
I believe so.
Irony has some merit.
It does.
But at the same time, I realized at one point, probably after the first episode of our podcast, I was like, people ironically liking a thing has caused certain things that are terrible, that should have never seen the light of day, to become popular. And giving success to those who don't deserve it so that they can make more. It's kind of like a survival of the fittest thing, and we're helping out.
I think that the important thing is they're no longer making these.
Yeah.
And several key members of the cast are dead. I think once something has expired, then maybe ironically liking it isn't as harmful. But I do agree. Maybe we should just pack it in. No, you know what? It's not our faults. It's not our faults. You know whose fault it is? It is Gaither Productions and Live Bait Productions. I hope we never watch something made by them. I hope that the Live Bait Productions and Gaither Productions, they're just a memory, and they're in the rearview mirror. We're moving past them. We're not going to talk about anything they've made ever again because we don't want to give more press to these people. We don't want to expose more people to their products. So from now on, no more Live Bait Productions, no more Gaither Productions. That's it. We're done. Our next cartoon is a production of Gaither Productions and Live Bait Productions. It's a little 3D animated film called Dorbees.
Oh boy!
What the fuck is this?
No,
my god! I felt like I was on drugs.
They're not quite orbs, but they're not quite dorbs.
So they're Dorbesies.
They're Dorbees. No, you fucked it up.
I'm sorry.
I put so much craft.
They're not
into that joke.
They're not quite orbs, and they're not quite dwarfs. They're not quite orbs.
It's cold outside.
They're not quite dwarfs.
Atmosphere. I'm all alone.
But you can find them at Arby's.
Oh, okay.
They're Dorbees. Okay, it begins in what I have to call is also farted out on a Casio Zarathustra. The most insufferable cover of Zock Also Sprach Zarathustra I've ever heard. For those of you who don't know that song, it is the theme to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Ba 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 na.
Dun 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 dun.
Ba 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 ba. Woo! Ba, ba. Mean, my God, Gene. We want some Dorbees. So, past the secret world of insects. I'm paraphrasing. This is what they begin with.
That's almost exactly what they say.
Past the secret world of insects and beyond the grass those insects hide behind. Past the smallest molecule is the world of the Dorbees. It's said in this really deep, like, robotic voice.
It's God.
Because it's God telling you about the Dorbees.
Remember how I said I made man in my image? I was lying. I'm a big orb.
It's the Dorbees. Hey, by the way, I'm also Unicron. Did you enjoy my film Citizen Kane?
Would you classify the Dorbees as Borbs?
They are bad orbs.
They are bad orbs. They are Borbs.
So wait, you're telling me Desmond Tutu was in Jock the Hero Dog?
Yeah.
And God himself
Yes.
was in Dorbees?
Yes.
God the Infinite
There's actually
and Unknowable.
There's 3 guest stars
Yes.
in Dorbees. One of them being God himself. The other 2 equally surprising, but we'll get to them later.
It begins with a red orb with a No, I'm sorry. It begins with the best theme song ever. Just play it.
Dorbees, everywhere I look I see Dorbees, rolling to and fro I see Dorbees, why don't they go away? Hey.
A low point in Richard Cheese's career, if ever there was one. Dorbees, why don't they just go away?
Why don't they?
We should just turn it. When the premise of the opening song's premise is why won't these things leave me alone? Which, by the way, is sung from the perspective of another Dorby.
A freaky green motherfucker
Hell is other Dorbees.
with weird gums and teeth.
That should be a warning that this is going to be a bad time. Why don't you just turn this off?
That's the warning?
Well, okay, the warning
They're
was
orbs.
Gaither Productions / Live Bait Productions.
They're orbs with arms and legs that have minimal, like, animation.
There's a red Dorby with a mustache who's an old blues man, and he's telling the story about these 2 Dorbees who want to skip school. When suddenly this fucking little orange Dorby appears, he's wearing overalls and he has a fucked up face with like buck teeth and he's wearing a straw hat.
Which keeps clipping, by the way. The material, the texture for the top of the hat just disappears scene to scene.
And he comes in and he rambles for what felt like hours, was probably a good, realistically, 30 seconds, which in cartoon time is a long time. And he's like, hey man, how's it going? I've been having, hey, check what I got for free down at the shop. It's a mouth hop. Hey, could I jam with you? We should jam together. You should let me join your band. I'm just kidding. I don't want to join your band. I'm not going to join your band. But if you want to hang out with someone, if you want things to get weird, if you and me want to get weird, we can get weird, man. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to get out of here.
You want to do some butt stuff?
I just knew a dude who used to...
Hey man, what you think, man? This thing's almost brand new. I saw him down there at the general store for 59 cents. But look here, I got this free, man. You know what? I'd love to join your band. Can I join your band? You know what? I'm just kidding. I don't want to join your band either. I'll tell you what though, man. If you want to hang out with somebody, you want to jam with somebody, just get weird, you know? Hey, brothers for life. That's what I say, man. Brothers for life. Hey, I'll be over here in your storm sewer gutter, okay? You need me, just give me a holler.
It's like, remember when Ellis does it in Left 4 Dead 2? And it's like kind of adorable, but a little bit annoying.
Adorable. Thank you. It's adorable.
Ellis, why don't you go away?
Alice, get this thing on my
Dorbees.
back.
I hate Dorbees. No, but you can tell it's a long time because they cut back to the red orb guy, and his mouth is agape, and he's like surprised.
He is agog,
which is hilarious
aghast.
because we see this orange guy keep coming back. He shouldn't be surprised. This should be like every day for him. living in the hell that is Dorbees, but they cut back 4 times.
The running gag. So
That's got to be at least a minute.
the running gag is that this little orange fucker will appear.
He will materialize.
Literally. We're not making a joke like it cuts away and it cuts back and he's there.
He comes out of a lava lamp at one point.
He forms in the eye of the lava lamp, busts out of the lava lamp. There are no words for Dorbees. How do I explain the inexplicable? This podcast should not be an audio medium. This should be only visual because the picture I'm trying to paint.
The visual would be watching Dorbees. And I would not wish that upon my greatest enemy.
God, it makes oddballs look like the thief and the cobbler. But the big thing about this,
Oddballs was finished.
Oh, fuck you, fuck you. Oh my God, that's the meanest thing you could say.
I'm sorry. If you want, well, hey guys, let's just animate the rest of Thief and the Gobbler right now. I got some pencils.
No, why are there Dorbees in the Thief and the Cobbler? Go Dorbees, why don't you just go away?
I said pencils. You can't pencil animate 3D fucking orbs.
They tried and they made Dorbees. So the jokes in this are this character talks a lot, and then we fade away. So the orange guy the red guy gets interrupted by the orange guy, but then when it cuts back to the red guy and he's telling the story, he just keeps talking about fucking nonsense until it fades into our story. He talks about someone who used to work the hi-hats even though he had a nub for an arm. I didn't know this guy, he used to work the hi-hats even though he had a nub for an arm.
So the only famous band with a one-armed drummer would be the Dorbees band.
These two Dorbs are trying to sneak out of school. One is this blonde-haired shit.
Yeah, he talks like this.
And the other is named Mary Jane. And we're like, yeah.
Jack and Mary Jane. Which is because this made me feel like I needed to drink a whole bottle of Jack and then toke up on some Mary Jane.
I really wish they named for Jack and Diane. Because obviously the person who was hired to animate this took the money and ran. So they try to sneak out of school. It becomes this Mission Impossible sequence where all these alarms are going off and they're chased by a large boulder down corridors a la Raiders of the Lost Ark. He falls into a hole.
A la DuckTales.
A la DuckTales, which then was adapted to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Which was ripped off.
He falls down a hole. She uses a grappling hook to pull him back up, and it's playing a knockoff of the Mission Impossible theme as he's, doing the whole, I'm on a cable suspended over something.
I think he goes, kids won't get this, kids won't get this. Or use joke.
We know what kids aren't going to get. The Starsky and Hutch references. There's a Starsky and Hutch reference.
A reference to a pimp
in Starsky
and Hutch. A little kids show called Dorbees is like, hey, you know this pimp in Starsky and Hutch?
There's a character from Sweden or Switzerland.
No, they say Sweden.
Oh, Sweden. There's a character from Sweden.
But he has an Austrian accent.
Who is, they do the shittiest Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation
I want to say
ever.
He even says things in German.
Yeah.
So he is...
Well,
what?
Are you sure he's not Swiss? Because Swiss people speak German. They speak Swiss German.
There is a gag at the end that I believe says Sweden, and I believe the entire time they never say where he's from. And I remember going, what the fuck? Why is he from fucking Sweden?
Okay. Because I do know that...
Regardless, he is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So Arnold Schwarzenegger, as a Dorbee, gets off a boat, goes into a pimp's clothing store, and the pimp who runs it says, I'm going to make you look better than my man, a Huggy Bear. And it's like, what the fuck?
He's not a pimp. He's just a funk musician. But although it occurs to me now that Arnold Schwarzenegger's in this, and so is the T-1000. That little orange guy just turns into goo and materializes. There's a scene where he walks through a prison cell like it's nothing, and that doesn't really happen. That was in Terminator.
Well, here's the thing: the Dorbees exist on the subatomic level. That's
if you were to cut a Dorbee in half, would it cause like a massive meltdown?
See, I can't explain this very well, so instead I'm going to play a clip from the film Prince of Darkness.
Say goodbye to classical reality, because our logic collapses on the subatomic level into ghosts and shadows.
That's what Dorbees are. You know, on the subatomic level, reality goes out the window. Many times in the movie, we see Dorbees will reach into their bodies and pull out gags. And hammer space. A hammer space, for those who don't know, it refers to when a character in a Looney Tunes cartoon or a Tom and Jerry will reach into their pocket.
In the Tom and Jerry show.
In the Tom and Jerry show, will reach into their pocket and pull out a object which should not fit in their pocket.
Or, in the case of Sam and Max, Max's butthole.
Max's butthole.
He'll just pull out a gun.
Should we just call Hammerspace Max's butthole from now on?
Yes.
Okay. So the Dorbees, though, they don't reach into their pockets because that would mean they would have to animate their clothing as a separate layer from the character model. So they reach into themselves and pull out a plunger or pull out a grappling hook or... I forgot where I was going with this. I was just... You know why I forgot? Because talking about how that little orange motherfucker was in the lava lamp made me realize, is he supposed to be the devil? Because in Prince of Darkness, the Antichrist is also in a lava lamp throughout the... If you haven't seen the film Prince of Darkness, you're not getting these references. I apologize.
He obviously has a southern accent, but not just any southern accent. He has a Georgia accent. And the devil went down to Georgia and became a Dorby.
How did the devil play that awesome violin solo if he was in a jar of goo being guarded by Donald Pleasance?
There was like a lot of Donalds tonight.
Yeah.
It's Donald Tuesday. I don't know. I couldn't.
Donald Pleasance played Fido in The Thief and the Cobbler.
There you go.
So
anyway, we were talking about Diggs Duds.
Diggs Duds.
Diggs Duds.
They were not making a Dig Dug reference. I wish they were.
Which would be a missed opportunity, because why wouldn't you make a fucking Pac-Man joke? You're obviously just in Pac-Land.
I want to go back to Pac-Land after watching this. There's interstitials between each segment where it's this green Dorby watching the show and he's surrounded by chips and soda, and then he'll hit a button on his remote and it goes and static comes up and it goes back to a previous segment. And it reminds me a lot of Pepsi Man, the game Pepsi Man. And if you haven't seen Pepsi Man, videos you can watch, Taco Man did a Taco Man Plays of Pepsi Man, and I believe JonTron recently did a JonTron video of Pepsi Man. But there is a fat, slovenly Pepsi vendor who will just be sitting there eating chips and will look at the camera and go, "Pepsi, it's good," and then crack a Pepsi and drink it. That's what it really felt like for some reason. And we were like, what does this green fat guy have to do with anything in the entirety of this Dorby show?
Both him and the Pepsi vendor are guilty of sloth and gluttony.
It's true. Oh, this is also Christian, by the way.
Oh, we hadn't gotten to that point yet, have we?
So, Dorbees also have souls. So things on the subatomic level have souls. Human beings have souls. Animals have souls. Was this made by that really weird Asian cult leader who believed that every object in the universe had a soul, and that when the apocalypse happened, your toaster would come alive and talk to you and shit like that?
No. This was made by Dr. Seuss, and this is just a shitty version of Whoville.
So the two kids who are trying to skip school, they go to a haunted house in a graveyard. And they're like, our parents said that we shouldn't go there. And he's like, yeah, but we're skipping school. We're rebels. We got to be adults. To be the man, you got to beat the man. This blonde-haired Dorby, associated with the song Also Sprach Zarathustra, just quoted Ric Flair in this cartoon. I was like, holy shit, this thing's going to take a turn to the awesome. He's going to fight Wahoo McDaniels and Dusty Rhodes. You know,
as a Dorby.
As a Dorby. Well, Dusty was pretty Dorby shaped.
Those little yellow dots on his unitard were Dorbees.
Were Dorbees?
Yeah, little yellow Dorbees.
Oh my god. Dusty was trying to smuggle Dorbees into the WWF.
Dorby Rhodes.
You're putting hard times on the Dorbees. Hard time blues. There's a scene when they're in the haunted house where there's a big arrow.
Are we not going to talk about the song?
We're just balls.
We want to be grown up.
We're just balls and we want to be grown up. There's a lot of like referring to yourself as balls.
I'm just a ball.
It's crazy.
And when she says I'm just a ball, she just turns into a ball with lips, and it's really unsettling.
They do that. They transform into their battle form, I guess. There's a scene in the haunted house, though.
It's like Samus when she turns into the little ball. She's a Dorby.
There's a scene in the haunted house where they're going from room to room in like a Scooby-Doo fashion, and there's a big arrow that says, "This way to Jimmy Hoffa." Children love Jimmy Hoffa references, especially when they come out of nowhere. It was great because at this point, hands on my face crying. Like, not like my brain was broken. And Andy was like, "Oh God, this is so weird. How's it going to get weirder?" And I said, "It can't." Because I've been so surprised by everything in this that my sense of surprise is forever broken. Nothing can surprise me past this point. And as I said this, she passed a sign and said, "This way to Jimmy Hoffa." And I was like, I was wrong. A Jimmy Hoffa reference. Kids know about union leaders that were supposedly abducted by the mafia.
Now, here's the best part. Next, Elvis is also there.
Elvis is also there.
And they talk about Elvis and Jimmy Hoffa together, living in the house together. They didn't die.
Yes.
They became Dorbees? Because I'm pretty sure Jimmy Hoffa and Elvis were both human at one point.
That's true, because they're Dorbees.
Yeah.
So either our timeline is the exact same as the Dorbees timeline. Like
that guy really was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The things that happen in our lives run in tandem with things that happen on the subatomic level. Or when you die and you become a fish and you still don't worship Shiva or Vishnu and you commit many sins, when that fish dies, he becomes a Dorby.
I mean, it makes sense.
Or actually, can I try that again real quick? When that fish dies, he becomes a fly, and then when Dennis Rodfrog eats that fly, he becomes a Dorby. Dennis Rodfrog, the destroyer of worlds. When Dennis Rodman wanted to get his mother back from Vishnu, Vishnu punished him by cutting off his head and attaching it to the body of a frog.
Yeah. I don't know why you're reiterating. Everyone listening
Everyone
knows
this.
This is fucking elementary.
Dennis Rodfrog will break basketballs to give you good luck. The milk that floweth from the basketballs. Should we even talk about the weird superhero skit in the middle that makes no sense?
Yes, because that is when I felt like I had just gotten in a car wreck and my brain was dying. This is some fucking Pink Floyd. I got in a car wreck. Like, Jaws of Life were trying to get me out, and I'm just imagining this superhero. What's his name? Mr. Poe?
Mr. Poe.
Mr. Poe and
his sidekick. Oh, I can't remember his sidekick.
I guess it's
Let's just play the theme song.
Who's the strongest Dorby in the world, who's loved by every boy und girl und Jock? It's Mr. Poe und Joggen.
Remember how George of the Jungle had Super Chicken?
Yeah.
I think this was supposed to be their Super Chicken. Like, we were going to get an episode of this each time where they fight the same French cow.
Oh, it's worth pointing out that the green guy, the green fat guy, the Watcher.
Yes.
Uatu, the green fat guy.
He might be God.
He might be. He flips the channel. And for some reason, the other times he flips the channel, it goes back to the Dorbees. But this time, it goes to this other show. And it says German Access Television. And then Mr. Poe and everyone are German, except the cow is French. Maybe it's because, it's some kind of World War II thing. I don't know. Fuck, I don't fucking know. Their accents are really bad. You can't really place them. Sometimes it sounds like it's from a different continent even.
It's just incomprehensible nightmare bullshit. They tip the cow to defeat him, and that's the joke.
Yeah. And the whole time the cow keeps doing like these asides to himself, and I don't know who they're for.
This is made by a madman.
Yeah.
This is the only explanation this is made by Madman. At the very end, the kid falls down another hole. He gets stuck. The whole town comes to save him.
He is falling down the hole and he says, "Josh, don't let me fall." And he falls.
Well, you're talking about being in a car wreck.
Yeah.
Do you think that Gaither Pond is Silent Hill and this is Silent Hill Shattered Memories?
Yes.
The Gaithers got in a car wreck. That's how Vestal Goodman died. Vestal Goodman got in a car wreck. When she got in that car wreck and was dying, the fantasy that she had in her brain turned into Gaither's Pond. But her daughter, who was so psychologically scarred from her mother dying, built up a fake world to cope called the Dorbees.
So you're having these visions about these things called Dorbees. I don't know what to do. Dorbees. Why don't they go away?
Shiba Inu is behind all of it. Shiba Inu animated that's at least. So the very end, the red Dorby, after we yet again get verbally assaulted by the orange Dorby.
You know, to get some of that cornmeal.
I mean, you know, they had a corn nut.
Corn, cream corn, candy corn.
Chris's pick, by the way, this week is American Pop, a Ralph Bakshi film. Oh,
great film. Has the song Dorbees. Why don't they go away? As the end. It's Chris's favorite part. The guy's like, dig it. Dorbees.
So it ends with the red Dorby or Borby.
Dorby.
Saying
Hello, I am Orby Dorby.
that we all have choices we can make in our lives. Choices are important. We all have these choices that we're presented with.
So I guess in a way, they're saying that you should be pro-choice.
You should be pro-choice.
If you have so many choices to make in life, you should make those choices.
Yeah. So the Gaithers are pro-choice, yeah.
I don't think we need to give any examples of choices. I think it's clearly evident what they're trying to say.
Don't watch Dorbees.
Your choice was to watch Dorbees or to enjoy your life.
So Andy, we got to talk about these three things we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
We have spent 25 minutes talking about a 30-minute cartoon, but we had to because Dorbees, holy fuck.
It was only 30 minutes?
It's like 32 minutes.
Oh.
It felt like an eternity.
You know, like in Inception, when Leonardo DiCaprio and his wife, who I don't know the actress's name, they spend like 80 years or something in their own dreams.
Yeah. It felt like that.
No, I'm saying Inception was bad, and so is Dorbees.
See, I think that you go into a dream, and that's one dream level. When you go into a level deeper, time slows down. And then when you go to a level deeper than that, you're in the world of the Dorbees. I think that Dorbees takes place in it. Like, if they would have gone one level deeper, we would have just seen Leonardo DiCaprio as a big blue ball bouncing around.
The bottom layer, there is a layer of hell that is cold as ice. Underneath that is the mouth of Leviathan. And then in the stomach is the Dorbees universe.
See, I think that Leonardo DiCaprio feels responsible for the death of his wife, who was an orange ball that played the mouth harp and wore a straw hat and overalls. And no matter what dream he goes to, that orange ball follows him to tell him about how good corn nuts are.
And Leonardo DiCaprio was like, I should have just let him be in my band. This wouldn't have happened.
Leonardo DiCaprio responsible for his wife's murder and the death of his two children. He gets institutionalized on Shutter Island. And the Dorbees are there. I didn't have a joke prepared. I just wanted to talk about Shutter Island.
What a great reference.
Bit.
There was a scene in Wolf of Wall Street.
And Dorbees.
And the Dorbees are there. And there's a scene where the Dorby is like, hey, you ever blow cocaine up a hooker's asshole? It's great. And, you know, and we got to get the corn nut. And, you know.
Remember when Monsieur Candy is given that racist speech and he has Broomhilda in front of him in the chair and he hits that skull and it slits his hand open?
Yeah.
It wasn't a skull, it was a Dorby.
Oh my God.
He killed a Dorby.
And he's talking about Alexander Dumas. He's like, so? And he's like, Alexander Dumas was a Dorby.
You know what I think Dorbees are, Andy?
What?
Wave of the future.
Wave
of the future.
Wave of the future.
Wave of
Wave
the
of the future.
Why don't they just go away? Why don't they just go away? Why don't they just go away? What?
It all makes sense.
What?
What's eating Gilbert Grape? He was a grape! He was a purple Dorby!
Whew, so we watched these 3 films. What would you suggest anyone watch these? I think you can skip Jock the Hero Dog. I think Dorbees has to be experienced.
Yeah.
I think you have to watch Dorbees.
If you're a bit, if you like getting high and watching 12-Ounce Mouse, Gerald, then you might enjoy getting super baked and watching some Dorbees. Actually, don't do that. You will have an aneurysm.
You inadvertently stole my ending joke. I am not kidding. I was going to call this the 12-Ounce Mouse of 3D animation.
Christian 12-Ounce Mouse.
I think there's nothing more Christian than 12-Ounce Mouse. 12-Ounce Mouse is the closest we will get to the creator's true message. It's the old Testament. Well, this has been Bad Toons, and the show lived up to its name. Skip Jock the Hero Dog. It's not so bad it's good. It's long. It's irritating as hell. Gaither Pawn, maybe.
Watch clips of Gaither.
Watch Gaither clips. Watch all of Dorbees.
Watch Dorbees. There's only 1 episode. I'm glad there's only 1 episode. But at the same time, don't
they say something akin to the "You Can't Stop the Dorbees"?
Yeah,
like
no one can stop Mr. Dorby.
At the end of the song, though, they're like, "You can't stop the Dorbees."
Dorbees, why don't they? You can't stop those Dorbees. No way.
Clearly, someone stopped the fucking Dorbees. Well, this has been Bad Toons. Thank you so much for listening to what will probably be your final episode. Not our final episode, but you will probably not come back after hearing about Dorbees. I assume, like a rational person, you will take your own life.
Oh, fuck.
What?
We missed like a whole part of Dorbees.
We did?
There was a part where Woody Harrelson is like cleaning glasses and Ted Danson walks in, but he's a Dorby.
Andy, I believe you were watching Cheers and then you took a Dorbees break mid episode of Cheers.
I can't stand Cheers. I have to watch Dorbees.
Yeah. Cheers is a pretty bad show.
It's terrible. I think...
You know the show Friends?
Yeah.
You know how it's like the logo is the word Friends and there's little white dots in between each letter? Those are Dorbees.
Oh my God. You're right.
Yeah.
I never watched Friends.
You should.
I tried watching Friends, but I had to keep taking Cheers breaks in between every episode.
You should watch Friends. I
should watch Fringe?
You should watch Friends, though. It's a great show. All the great characters are there. There's Ross. He is a paleontologist. He's kind of the dour nerd character. There's Monica. She's a chef, but she's kind of full of herself, but she's full of a lot of energy. There's Rachel. There's Phoebe. Phoebe's kind of like the weird hippy-dippy one. There's Chandler. He can shapeshift and change sizes, and he rambles on a bunch, and he's always talking about corn nuts. He loves corn nuts. He has a mouth harp. He just wants to join Ross's band. And Ross, and this is all told from the perspective of Gunther, who's just sitting in his easy chair watching this. I don't know why I put "guy sounds like fudge."
What?
I have a note that said "guy sounds like fudge."
Let me see.
Guy sounds like fudge. Pudge! The guy sounds like Pudge!
This is gonna cost me some subscribers for sure.